Talk about opening up a whole can of whoop ass. That's exactly what Kim Mulkey and the LSU Lady Tigers just did against the Florida State Seminoles, especially in that third quarter. Coming off a quarter where Florida State kind of made it interesting. You went into half 50 up 50-49. But whatever Kim Mulkey said to the Lady Tigers at halftime, it certainly worked as they went on a 31-6 run in the third quarter, absolutely putting on a big old thing of whoop ass on the Seminoles. Anissa Morrow having 26 points, going 12 for 21 from the floor, hitting 2 for 2 from her free throws, but 3 big offensive rebounds with her total of 11 total rebounds that she had in the game was absolutely massive. Samaya Smith, have you a night, young lady. A double, 20 points with 12 rebounds, 9 on the night, shooting 2 for 3 from the free throw line. Absolutely dominating was Samaya Smith. She also had 3 massive steals in that game as well, but the big girl got her 6 assists, dishing probably the best pass coming in the first quarter when she was on top of the key. She makes a pass to Michaela Williams underneath the basket with a sweet finger roll underneath the cup to get a bucket. Absolutely beautiful. But you got a 46-point combined between Morrow and Smith. But then you also had your superstar, and I do believe an outright superstar, Michaela Williams, who went 10 of 12 tonight from the floor, 5 from 5 from the free throw line, 3 from 3 from behind the arc, which her 3 in the corner on the far right side pretty much sealed the deal as LSU would go up 20 when she hit her second 3 there. But she had 28 big points. Didn't do anything else other than scoring. It's not anything else that you needed her to do as well. I did think, for what it's worth, that the Lady Tigers were in a little bit of trouble there going into half because they had 9 big turnovers going in at halftime. But it didn't really matter because they really cut that one down as they ended the second half with only having 2 turnovers. By the way, they got 7 in the second half for Florida State. So 7 big turnovers for them. The largest lead obviously being 36 in this game. LSU opened up the can of whoop ass coming off that third quarter route. But an absolutely dominating performance for the Lady Tigers. 3 from 10 from behind the arc. Michaela Williams hitting all those threes. But here was also a big deal for Florida State, where LSU was beating them up in the trenches, beating them up and on the block, beating them in the paint. The paint points were absolutely insane here, where LSU dominated tonight versus Florida State, was having 33 defensive rebounds to 18 for Florida State, but they also just out-rebounded in total, having 46 to 37, and then obviously Florida State being 8 of 34 from behind the arc was absolutely ridiculous and insane. Latson for Florida State is one of the best scorers, if not the best scorer in women's college basketball, did have 30 points on the night, but she went 11 of 26 from shooting from the field. Not a great night from her. Good night, but not a great night. So the Lady Tigers do advance to the Sweet 16. It's like death, taxes, and LSU women's basketball being a 3 seed and Kim Mulkey leading you back to a Sweet 16. What can the Lady Tigers do here? What can the Lady Tigers come up with, and what can they do? You know, I sit here and I think about it. I think about the women's basketball and the bracket and where you're currently at and what you're going to face down the stretch here. Look, I'm not saying that you are and will make a Final Four here, but you do have the number 2 seed in NC State, who's a really, really, really good team. And I do think it's funny that Will Wade is the new head coach of men's basketball at NC State, and LSU women's basketball is facing off against them in the Sweet 16. But you do get NC State. You get the winner out of Ole Miss and UCLA before you can get to the Final Four here. But let's see. It will be very interesting. I thought it was a dominating performance tonight. Can this team continue to prevail? Let's get to a couple comments. What did you think of the game tonight? Greg says, love the show, Blake. Thanks for all you do. Thank you. It's always nice to get it some compliments around here. Great time of year, Blake. You got basketball, baseball, and softball, says Clay Phillips. I absolutely agree. It's a great time of year. You start spring break. Are you going to be going to the beach during spring break? We're taking the kiddos to the beach this year. Actually, you guys have all helped us be able to do that. But it is a great time of year for sports. I absolutely agree with that. Alexander Taylor says, Michaela Williams' game is like Melo. She plays in a phone booth. Nothing more than 2 or 3 dribbles. I somewhat actually agree with that. The thing for her tonight is she was on from the floor, like just shooting wise. When she's on like that, she might be the best player in the game. Because she's physical, she can shoot. I mean, she was on one tonight. And listen, I'm sure Kim will say this in her postgame. Samaya Smith was big for you tonight. If you can continue to get play from like that from her, sky's the limit, man. Sky is the limit. And you kind of needed Smith to kind of start going off here, right? Like, I mean, you need these bigs in women's basketball to go off, and she did tonight. That is for damn sure. Brandon Richardson says, be rich out here in Albuquerque. Good to have you in here. She says, what a game. LSU can win it all. First day back to work as a government employee. Well, happy that you're back to work. I'm not going to ask because I don't want to get I don't want to get too political in here. I did see some people this week from LSU's media corps get a little political. We're not going to get there. But, Brandon, regardless, I'm glad you're back at work, man. Thank you for being here with us. Anthony B. Saint says, should we be concerned about the pitching staff? Oh, boy, we're going to get to some baseball. That is for damn sure. That is for damn sure. We're going to get to it. You don't have to worry about that. It's actually we're going to get to after the break. Then we're going to get to some football overall thoughts now that I've had a couple of days to think about it. I know we talked about it on Saturday, but kind of want to give an overall synopsis of what I think here. Humbug says, don't know what was said at halftime, but they came out back cooking. I don't either. But listen, here's a truth, at least the truth that I see it. Okay? The truth that I see it as is fairly simple, is that elite coaches, and you can go in any sport, elite coaches, Kim Mulkey, Nick Saban, Gino Auriemma, Jay Johnson, Skip Berkman, they know what buttons to push. And even coaches that don't have national title rings that are just great coaches. Great coaches know what buttons to push to get their team back focused right in what they need to do. The 31-6 run that you had in the third quarter is absolutely pure insanity. Now, they missed a lot of shots in that third quarter, but you did not take the foot off the gas and propelled you to dominating that ass. And so when you always look at elite coaches, they all have some of the same characteristics. What are the 3 main characteristics that elite coaches have? They recruit at a high level. They know what buttons to push, and most of them are very intense. So, I mean, like I think of Kim Mulkey, I think of like Saban, I think of so many other of these others. And listen, when you hired Kim Mulkey, what you were hiring was the consistent dominance. Guys, she's going back to another Sweet 16. Got a big game against NC State. I don't even know when that game is. I could probably look that up. That might be a to be determined here. But, I mean, you're on a fair side of the bracket, man. Ole Miss versus UCLA and LSU versus NC State. You know, you still got USC out there. Shout out to Jaden Daniels and his mom cock blocking. You got Oklahoma still in there. UConn is down right now to South Dakota State 12-9. I don't think that that's going to change. Notre Dame, TCU is still in there with Haley Van Lith. Tennessee and Texas are still in there. They won the conference. Alabama just got upset in double overtime by Maryland. South Carolina, who was down early to Indiana, but did win by 11. So I'm sure we'll figure out, but a big game for you nonetheless, and you got to knock somebody off here that was selected ahead of you. And I do think Kim Mulkey, who is pushing all the right buttons at the right time, might be able to do it. So we'll see. All right. Let's get to a couple more, then we're going to move on here. Andrew says we're going to beat the brakes off of NC State again. I hope you do, man. I hope you do. It would be great if you did. Don Wheat said it would be on Friday night, 6:30, says Steven. Okay. I did not know that. Craig, our big-time buddy up in here, says, I'm ready for some baseball talk. Well, Craig, we have front and back pages of notes about baseball. So, oh, boy, I'm getting canceled tonight, Craig. Craig, hey, I'm getting canceled tonight. People are going to get pissed off. People are going to get pissed off. We have to have a serious conversation about the starting rotation. Mr. Blank, the bullpen. Okay, fair. By the way, this is not to our friends over at LSU HQ. One inning does not lose you a series. Managing in one inning can lose you a game. It doesn't lose you a series. I'm getting canceled tonight, though, man. I'm getting canceled tonight. Craig also says that's a different basketball team than the one that finished the season. Very true. Very true. Andrew Martin says the Cajun-omics Bowl tomorrow night need a hard reset after a lackluster Saturday and Sunday. Pause up. I did go on with Rage and Review today, and I called them narcs. They were called narcs. They are narcs. But if I'm not mistaken, Cajun-omics is back, actually. But, yes, we do have the Cajun-omics Bowl that we'll talk about that, too, in just a moment. All right. Let's get moving here. All right. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups if you are on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Always. And this is the last time we're going to do a public read because we got a commercial for them. I just keep doing these public reads for them, and I love them. But need to talk about our good friends over at Service Hawk Digital Media. Guys, do you need the right leads with the smart systems and for real digital media growth? Get a marketing system that works today. Go over to servicehawk.com/IO. That's servicehawk.com/IO today. Fill out their questionnaire. Fill out everything that you do. If you're an HVAC, electrical work, or you're a generator pro, or you're a business owner that needs a bigger digital footprint in your area, no one is better at helping you set that up than our good friends at Service Hawk Digital Media. I am in the game when it comes to being in digital media. I'm telling you, they are the top of the line inside the state of Louisiana. Get over there today. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Everybody do us a favor and hit that like and share. As we just discussed, we'll come back. We'll talk a lot of LSU baseball. Let's break down the weekend next. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
We're back. All right. Let's get moving here. I do think I was just on a hot mic singing Tyler Alexander's theme song there. Actually, I know I wasn't on my mic, so if you heard me singing, I was singing. I do not apologize there at all, but it is what it is. All right, let's get rolling here. So, LSU baseball dropped 2 of 3 from Texas, and man, the sky is falling. We are not a good baseball team at all. We can't hit. We can't pitch. We have no bullpen. Our coach sucks. All of it. You're right. What we should take out of losing a weekend series is very simple. To a top 10 team on the SEC on the road, we suck. We're not good. Come on. Come on. Yearly reminder. I'm just going to say it like this. Yearly reminder. You cannot take the football mindset to baseball. Or there are some things that you have to be better at. We're talking about them tonight. I don't disagree with you. When early in the season, everybody would come after us or me or whatever, when it came to, Blake, it's early in the season, you're overreacting. No, you can point out individual things that have gone wrong. It doesn't make them the overall theme when it comes to baseball. Baseball is a long season, even though you're almost very close to halfway through the season. There's a lot of things that go on in a baseball season. And tonight we're going to point some of those things out. I want to start off here because it sucks going on the road to Texas and falling. It sucks going on the road anywhere in the SEC or anywhere in the country and falling 2 out of 3, especially when you win that Friday night game. Now, there are a lot of conversations that we can have throughout the week that Jay Johnson can speak about. Zach Cohen throws on Friday. Do you see a situation where now that you go in a series with Mississippi State, what do you do on Thursday? What do you do on Friday? What do you do on Saturday? Do you start having the questions of, do we get Cohen into this rotation if we need to at all? But I want to start off with the rotation because on Sunday I tweeted this, and it was in reference to the tweet that I had about these are the 3 best arms that LSU has right now. That is Cade Anderson, without a doubt. That is Zach Cowan, without a doubt. And that is Kason Evans, without a doubt. I probably should have been more specific. It was my fault for not being more specific. I wasn't calling for Evans and Cowan to start. I do think it will be interesting to see if Jay does make a move on these guys that are starting the weekend. But I got pushback on Anthony Ianson. And where I think, and have said on multiple postgame shows, where I've said in midweeks, when we are here and we're talking about the team, whether it be a postgame or in a situation like this, when it comes to LSU baseball, I think that Anthony Ianson's going to be and has the potential to be a really, really good dude. But I do look at the last 3 starts versus the P5, or the first 3 P4, I should say, P4 starts that he had. Guys, in 14 innings pitched for Anthony Ianson, he's given up 18 hits, 13 earned runs. 13. He doesn't walk a lot of guys, but 14 base on balls, 18 strikeouts, and an 8.36 ERA. Guys, you have a gauntlet that's bigger than Nebraska, Missouri, and Texas, and a combined overall feat than what you've seen early part of the season. Anthony Ianson's not the only person I'm picking on here tonight, but there does come a question, do you need to look at something on Saturday? I don't know if you do or don't, and I don't quite frankly know if Jay's going to look at anything going into the weekend series versus Mississippi State. Might be a little too early for Jay to make a move because Anthony does have a lot of really raw talent that I do think that needs to work through some of this stuff. But you can point some things out, and there's nothing wrong with pointing out in the first 3 Power 4 starts that Anthony Ianson has got against Nebraska, Missouri, and Texas is 8.36 ERA. Now, I know a lot of you, for what it's worth, think Ianson has done a really good job. I differ from you in saying the really good job part. Guys, he's given up 13, or what was it? Let me go back to it. He's given up 13 runs in 14 innings against Power 4 opponents. You can't do that. You can't average that. And Nebraska is not a good baseball team. Missouri, even though I don't think they're as bad as some people think that they are, They're not a good baseball team. Now, Texas, the team that you play this weekend, is really good. And I want to go to the 5th inning because a lot has been made since Sunday that the 5th inning, and I mentioned this earlier, but the 5th inning in game 2 lost you the game. The 5th inning did not lose you the game. Now, was it a bad inning? Yes. But Anthony Ianson got pulled in that inning. Guys, he gave up a walk to Gasparino, had a wild pitch that the wild pitch would be from Connor Ware, But a wild pitch, because he got pulled, would move Gasparino over. But he has a wild pitch. He had Mendoza has a single right back up the middle. And you got runners on first and second with 1 out. And he's at 75 pitches. I don't think making a move there was the wrong move. It was the wrong move because it didn't pan out the way that you wanted it to. But you had one of the Big 12 reigning Big 12 player of the year in Ballou coming in, a lefty, who dominated the first 2 at-bats, or the last 2 at-bats, I should say, and dominated you in this series, which I do believe that when you look around the country, there might not be a better 2, 3, 4 in all of college baseball that you're going to see. Texas with Ballou, Flores, and Galvan is really, really, really good. The problem is that Connor Ware came in and gave up a walk. Schmidt came in and got a fielder's choice, but then gave up a 3-run bomb. Now, I don't know if Schmidt should have been put in that high leverage of a situation, but it didn't lose you the inning. You know how I know it didn't lose you the game? You know how I know it didn't lose you the game? It didn't lose you the game because in the top of the 6th, Braswell would hit a ground ball, but Stanfield would have an infield single, and Curiel would hit a 2-run bomb into left field that gave you the lead on Texas in the 6th inning. You had taken the lead. I don't think Anthony Ianson, for what it's worth, is stopping them when you have their top hitters coming up in that 5th inning. He's not. The problem was on Saturday, and the problem really was on Sunday, is that when they poured it on you, you could not stop them. Now, Casey Evans and Zach Cowan did. And those might be the 2 arms that you got to say, look, brother, you going 75 pitches to 125 pitches this weekend. We need you. Now, I don't think you do that with Casey Evans, but you got to do it with Zach Cowan. It's a must. And he might stay in the pen and be your Griffin Herring, just from the right side. But even when you took the lead in the 6th inning on Saturday and the loss, Connor Bench comes in and goes 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. He comes in the 7th, gets a leadoff home run, but then gets a ground ball out. He gets a ground ball single into the 5-hole and in the shift. So if you're not in the shift, he gives up a home run, but he gets 2 ground ball outs right there, does Connor Bench. But you're in a shift. A pop fly that falls into the Bermuda Triangle that nobody can get to. Guys, Connor Bench should have been out of the inning. It's baseball. It's baseball. More than Ianson being pulled, Connor Bench isn't really doing anything. He gave up a ground ball single into the 5-hole because you have the shift on where Braswell's at shortstop. If he's in his normal position and makes the play, guys, you're out of the inning. If Chris Stanfield gets a better jump in center field and catches the ball in the short center field, you're out of the inning. So it'd be back-to-back innings where Bench gets out of the inning. He's not giving up hard hits. So the wheels would fall off for you when you bring in Jacob Myers and he gives up 2 walks. The wheels would fall off when you couldn't overcome on Saturday and Sunday. Now, I bring up Anthony Ianson and what he's looked like in his first 3 Power 4 opponents, against the first 4 Power 4 opponents. But guys, on Sundays, you have not been better either. I did not pull the stats for Chase Shores against North Alabama. I'm not doing that. But against Sam Houston State, against Missouri, and against Texas, Chase Shores has thrown 12 and 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 18 hits, just like Anthony Ianson. He's given up 12 earned runs, 8 base on balls, 13 strikeouts, an 8.85 ERA. So we can look at the bullpen and say to ourselves, a bullpen that threw 12 innings, gave up 14 hits, 5 base on balls, which, by the way, all of them were on Saturday. All of the walks that LSU gave up from the bullpen came on Saturday. Cowan and Evans locked it down for you on Friday and Saturday, or Friday and Sunday. You have to get better stuff from your starting rotation as well. A lot is being made of the bullpen. I'm right with you. I actually, and the reason I put it up like this, I don't hate nor disagree with the game plan that Jay had. I don't. You lock him down on Friday. You hope that Chase Shores, with some of the elite stuff that he can have, can give you enough to get you to Case and Evans. He didn't have it. Quite frankly, he did not have it. Because your bullpen, from a statistical analysis standpoint, has been overall better in those 3 games that we talked about than what has been from your starting rotation. Against Nebraska, the bullpen did not give up a run. You gave up 5 early. Your bullpen struggled in some situations on Saturday, again, where you had issues on Saturday, again, against Mizzou. Friday and Sunday, they were fine, more than fine. They gave up some hits here and there, but you conceded that Sunday game and threw a lot of arms to not tire out your dudes. I do agree that you have to be better. I do agree that you have to be better. And listen, I understand a lot of your complaints when it comes to Jay Johnson. New year, same issues. Guys, I got to be blunt with you about something. Do I think it's fair to point out that the bullpen and some of the starting rotation has had issues? Yes. I do think it's fair. I also think it's fair that you need to see that that's college baseball at the current moment. Georgia just had a Saturday guy for once this season that got past 5 innings pitched. For once. The reason they're winning is they're blasting their way to it. Same thing going on with Tennessee. Guys, Tennessee did not have a Sunday starter, but they're blasting their way to wins. Alabama beats Tennessee on a Thursday and then turns right around and their bullpen shits down their leg. That is a truth. I will be interested to see what happens with this starting rotation. I don't know, nor do I think at the current moment, and this could very well happen, I don't think there's going to be a change. Not yet, anyway. You go into a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series with Mississippi State this week. Your Saturday and Sunday guys have got to get better. You cannot be in a situation where you have one starter that in the last 3 Power 4 starts has an 8.36 ERA, giving up a run an inning, and you can't have the same for Chase Shores, who's at 8.85. That's not efficient enough. The most innings that you will get should be from that starting rotation. So, I know there was a lot of people coming after me. What about Anthony Ianson? Guys, Anthony has not been great in these starts against Power 4 opponents. The numbers are bearing that out. So you can argue with me about he's getting pulled too early. Guys, getting pulled too early has nothing to do with having an over 8 ERA. It just doesn't exist. It does not exist. Against one of those starts being against a team in Missouri who is not good. I do think, for what it's worth, that you were highly competitive on Saturday from him. He gave you everything he had, along with Chase Shores. But, guys, Chase Shores gave up too many walks against Texas. on Sunday. 7 hits in 4 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, 2 base on balls. It felt like more than that. I'd say give up too many, but it felt like too many. Because 7 hits in 4 innings pitched is not good. I don't care who you're facing going off against or who you're going up against. You can't have that level of production and go where you want to go. But I don't think Connor Benj was bad for what it's worth this weekend. I think Connor Benj was the one that might have been pulled a little bit too early if we're being blunt. You have 3 guys that are SEC high quality SEC guys. I don't think William Schmidt continues to give you those type of performances. I think they'll figure something out, and I still think he's one of the most immense talented guys on your roster. He's got to throw strikes. And the one time he did throw strikes, it came against a guy who is one of the hottest hitters in the country. And you can't leave that there. In reference to Jay, I know a lot of you are upset that you have a lot of the same issues. I get it. I understand your concern. I am not there yet. I am not going to freak out over losing 1 series. I'm just not going to do it. And I'm certainly not going to do it against a top 5 team on the road. I'm not going to do it. Could it continue? Yeah, it could continue. Could it get better? Yeah, it could get better. I just remember situations that you've been in the past where you lost to Auburn, who's one of the worst teams in the SEC. Now, they made a massive run after they played you in 2023. But that same year, you lost to Mississippi State. Took 2 or 3 of you in back-to-back weekends. I think of who you were as a team a year ago. Guys, you were 3-12 in the league a year ago. 3-12. You went 10-5 down the stretch in the regular season. You go into the postseason in the SEC tournament, and you all remember what happened there. It is way too early to freak out over this. Now, Texas fans came after me because of a comment I made. It's all about how you respond. 2 runs for what it's worth on Sunday is not going to cut it. Offensively, the kid Rojas, who, by the way, threw on Tuesday. The kid threw on a midweek, started against you, and then shut you down. You got shut down by Rojas. Let's see how many innings he pitched. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 2/3 innings against you, and he shut you down. But then they had Volantis that came in and shut you down there too. Offense did not lose you the series, though. You got to get better performances out of your starting guys, man. You better. Because if you don't get better quality starts, because you're going to be, that rotation is going to get moved quickly. If you're asking me what I would do, I don't know. I don't know what you do. Maybe you can move Anthony Ianson. Maybe you can move Chase Shores. I don't know what you do. Here's what I do know, though. There are some solutions that you can have here. Zach Cowan was a Friday night starter for Wofford. Well, Blake, what about Wofford? Well, he came in against an SC opponent at back-to-back weeks and shut him down. What's also something he didn't have? He had 1 walk in 6 innings. It's more innings than your starters. He's had more innings of your starters and has been more dominant, whether it's out of the pen or not. The kid was a starter at Wofford. I would be interested to see if a move's ever made and where the move is made. I know you don't want to break the confidence of one of these guys, but, man, you might have to. You might have to. And I will remind people. Now, by SEC play, Ty Floyd was in the rotation. Ty Floyd started out of the bullpen in that year, in 2023. We've seen Jay do this before. If it were me, and it's not me, and Jay can disagree, and it's his team, and he knows more about baseball than I do. On Saturday or Sunday, hypothetically speaking, your number 2 or number 3 guys, what I should say, I'm putting Zach Cowan there. Have the debate amongst yourselves. Have the debate of what you believe. But it is of my opinion that I'd put him there. One inning did not lose you a series, though. That is I've seen that take more than anything when it comes to relative LSU baseball. Guys, that's not true. It is not true that 1/5 inning on Saturday lost you a series. You started off a game 3 with Chase Shores and Kason Evans in the bullpen, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Let's talk about some positives, though, because I'm tired of talking about all the negatives. Because I don't think you were moderately bad at the plate. I thought you were moderately pretty good. Because anytime that you score 8+ runs in any game, you got to win both of them in the SEC. It's got to happen. You did that on Friday and Saturday. Sunday, they threw a guy that you had not seen start. He got up on you, and good on him. They beat you. They beat you. But, man, I would take it as a massive positive for Cade Anderson, who shoved against a really good team, Zach Cowan, who shoved against a really good team, and Kason Evans, who, by the way, Kason Evans this weekend went 3 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, and 5 Ks. That kid's a freshman, y'all. Zach Cowan, 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 3 Ks, no walks. Because he gave up a hit to that lineup. And shoved. That changeup is retiring more people than AARP. AARP doesn't have the retirement that Zach Cowan's changeup has. I'm making the move. There were some instances where I did think that you didn't perform at the plate, maybe in critical situations, but that I just feel like that's nitpicky. The only debate about at the plate or in the field that I would make was start Tanner Reeves. Would probably be the only thing, and I know that Braswell's giving you a lot of good situations. But when you have multiple guys on base with no outs, you got to perform. You did that on Friday, and for what it's worth, I thought you did it on Saturday. The problem was when you got into the top of the 8th, the top of the 7th, you went 1, 2, 3 in the top of the 7th. You're tied. Top of the 8th, you go 1, 2, 3. In crunch time, they prevailed, and you did not. On Sunday, I mean, look. Chase Shores just got beat up, man. He got beat up. In the bottom of the 2nd, he gives up a ground ball double into the 5-hole down the line. That should not have been a double. Reeves dives for it. It hits off his glove. Stephen Milam is just standing there, and he's making Curiel sprint to the ball, and Gasparino makes a bust-ass play where he's sprinting the whole way to get to second base. The 9-hole hitter and Farmer, who, by the way, destroyed you this weekend, had an RBI line drive single into left field. The 1-hole hitter, Mendoza, ground ball single into the 4-hole. Ballou, an RBI fielder's choice to third base. Flores grounded out to the shortstop. You go to the bottom of the 4th. You get a ground ball, a line drive to second base, but then you start back up into the top of the order, and that critical walk that you have on Mendoza bites you in the ass. Because Ballou comes up, the reigning Big 12 player of the year. That's where I would have gone to Evans, if I'm just being blunt with you. And I would have said, go out there and shove. But then Shores gives up a 2 RBI home run into right field. Couldn't close it out. Couldn't close it out, man. I don't know why I keep closing this shit. That will get you beat 10 times out of 10. We'll see. All right. I think we had a super chat in here. Did we not have a super chat in here? We did. Ryan with a $2 super chat. You can send some in if you want to. We'll read all of them. Why are people pissed off? Lance, why are you pissed off in the chat? Ryan Kelly with a $2 super chat says, do you save Cowan and Evans on Saturday and Sunday? So listen, there is a strategy here that you could easily do. Could you leave him in there and let him come out of the pen and just hope that both of your starters can push some things here? For sure. For sure. Jay could do that. Jay could easily leave him there and say, listen, we're going to try to take the first two games and we got to bring both of you. I mean, what happens if you're in a close game on a Thursday or Friday and Cade Anderson has an off day? What do you do then? Part of me, Ryan, says try to win the first two games with everything that you got and then come back on that third day and just try to piece it all together if you can. I don't think the bullpen was horrible, but I don't think they were great either. I mean, 12 innings pitched, 14 hits, 5 base on balls that all came in one game, 7 earned runs. That's not good. But, guys, it's less than a run an inning. 5.25 ERA. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, the Saturday game is what really puts a damper on that because Friday, Cowan shoved, and then Sunday, Evans shoved. You know who you go to now, though. Here's the one thing I didn't agree with Jay on. The one thing that I didn't agree with Jay on was I would have gone with Binge and I would have gone with Evans on Saturday. Because Sunday's a wash if Chase Shores can't throw strikes anyway. And he's getting blasted. And it didn't matter. That would be the one thing that I disagree with him vehemently on. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's get to a couple comments. Lauren says, only the second time since you started AYS that I disagree with you. We're usually on the same page, but I think Ianson is much better than Shores. If Evans comes in after Ianson, we likely win. I agree with you on Evans coming in for Ianson. I do agree with you that Shores is better than it's not been better than Ianson. I actually, Lauren, don't disagree with you there. If I misspoke there, I apologize. I'm just saying for Cowan, at least what I tried to articulate, if I messed up, I apologize. If you're going to move Cowan into a starting role, I don't care what's on Saturday and Sunday. If you gave me a choice, I would put Ianson over Shores. Shores has not been better than Ianson. The argument that I would make is that I see a lot of the narrative in a lot of you are tagging me in it, so that's why I see it. But even in our own chat room, or chat or mentions, is the conversation is, Anthony Ianson's not bad. Y'all got to stop with that. No, he's been moderately below average in the last 3 Power 4 starts. That's non-deniable. Does he have the stuff to be much better than he's performing? Yes. Anthony Ianson has the stuff where he could go out there in a weekend against any SEC team. He has the stuff to do it. The problem is that we haven't seen it against a team other than North Alabama. Right? Like, I mean, we saw it early in the season, but guys, it doesn't matter who it is. Take the name off of it. Put any name other than Anthony Ianson. Okay? The stats on this one don't lie. They don't lie. He was able not to give up any runs after giving up 5 against Nebraska, and then your team storms back and just hits the ball all over the place, and you win 11-5. Well, your bullpen, after 5 innings, locks them down and doesn't allow a run either. I don't think Nebraska is a good team. The same thing can be said about Saturday against Missouri, who I still don't think is a horrible team. I still don't know if they get a win in the SEC this year, but they're still not a bad team at the plate. They're really scrappy. I mean, they gave Ole Miss everything they could handle. They were a pest for Ole Miss, just like they were against you. But I'm not going to be the one to sit here and say that that's the type of performances that you need from your starting guys, because it's not. It's not. It isn't. And look, Ianson did not get credited with the loss. I don't remember who really did. John Bro says, Blake, I hate to go there, but I got to ask, is Yeskie the problem? That's another thing we didn't bring up. So here's the thing about Nate Yeskie for me. I understand a lot of people that have brought that up. Man. It's definitely been a conversation piece. Look, I'm going to cop out on this one. I can understand both sides of the argument, if I'm being frank. And it's very easy for me to sit here and say that because it's a cop out, and I know it's a cop out, and I'm chickening out, so to speak, right? And not really answering it, but I can understand both sides of it. The thing for me is that I see a dude like Kane Anderson looking really good. I see a guy like Zach Cowan looking really good. I see a guy like Evans looking really good. Griffin Herring making a big jump for you. He was still the pitching coach. Here's the thing with Yeskie that if you're on the other side of it that gets me, because you led the country in strikeouts a year ago. You led the country in strikeouts. Chase Shores, let me give an example. I know Chase Shores got hurt as a freshman, and it's not fair. Chase Shores, Cam Johnson, some of these guys have had multiple pitching coaches. Thatcher Hurd had three or four pitching coaches, still had the same issues he always had. I don't think that a guy like William Schmidt will continuously be that bad. I also don't think that a coach who has been the National Assistant Coach of the Year 3 times, has 3-4 national titles, whatever it is bad now. I don't think he suddenly got bad. There are some positive notes. Like, I don't think Schmidt's going to be that bad, and you have Kason Evans and Schmidt going into next season. I just think you got to change some things up. And listen, I do feel like there's a little overreaction to you losing a weekend series. Nobody said Wes Johnson sucked after you lost to Auburn. Nobody said he sucked after you lost to Mississippi State. Well, Blake, you had Paul Skeens. Well, guys, Ty Floyd had a really good year. Your third guy who got drafted in the first 2 rounds that got hurt to the White Sox didn't even play, didn't even pitch. That stunk for you. But you got big performances like from guys. Brandon, go to AYS Twitter. We just got sent a breaking news story. I want you to validate. I need you to validate it for me. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Validate that story. It looks fake. Validate the story, and then let me know in our private chat if it's legitimate. I'm talking about the Florida State women basketball player story. It looks fake. All right, thanks. Sorry. We just got sent something. It's like Florida State player found hospitalized after controversial game. Validate that story. Is that for now what's going on there? All right, a couple more comments, then we're going to take a break and get to some football. Cole Adams says Texans fans were saying that they were lucky that they got all the hard teams at home this year. I told them, look, see, they're after my ass. So, Cole, if you go to SEC Unfiltered Twitter, they're after my ass because I said LSU's got to go on the road to Texas and Oklahoma. How is it that you got to go to both of them? Sankey is horrible with umpires and refereeing. It's the SEC's biggest downfall. Scheduling is their second. They're fucking horrible. They're horrible. Pierce Lee says, I think maybe, just maybe, there's been a belief that the top end of Shores could look like Skeens. Well, it's not even remotely close to being there. It's not in the same conversation, nor should it be in the same stratosphere. Bryce Bourgeois says Ianson hasn't been nearly as good or as bad as people are making him out to be. He's been average. I think that's about right, Bryce, if we're being blunt. I think that is very much about right. Jeremy, I'm not sure what he sent like 3 comments, but Jeremy says, hell, SEC took back the penalty when their fans threw trash on the field with no repercussions. Exactly. Chad says, I don't know what everyone sees in Shores, potentially doesn't win you games. Nothing that he throws says that he is elite or can be elite. Well, here's the conversation with Shores if you brought him out of the pen. The conversation would be, when he's not having to start, can he come out here and just throw straight gas and just uncork it? That would be the question, because I don't think he's a starter in the draft. I don't think he'll be drafted as a starter. I think you should move him in the back end of that bullpen and let him come out there and say, let it rip. When you have a starting guy, they got to throw strikes, and they got to get outs. They got to get weak outs. They got to get you some 1, 2, 3 innings, especially on Saturday. I don't think Ianson has been as bad as maybe it felt like I portrayed him to be. I'm not saying he's been bad. What I am saying is that he's not been good either. Oh, he's been okay. He's been pretty good. He hadn't been pretty good. He hasn't. That's not pretty good in my play. You got a long baseball season to figure this out. All right, one more, then we're getting moving. Jaron Green says Arkansas is supposed to suck at hitting. What's going on? Sign stealing. Outside of them, Tennessee, I like LSU to finish to the top, Blake. Very much could happen. Arkansas can just hit for once. At least they can in the regular season. All right, let me get to a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to summarize what I've seen through 10 days, 9 days, whatever it is, of LSU football. We'll break that down, and then we'll get on out of here. Stay with us. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you.
All right, hold on. Thank you, Brandon. That story in there was not true. Can I go on a small mini rant before we get to football? Have y'all seen this guy on Twitter that has posted his morning routine where he wakes up, he's got some shit over his mouth, and then he takes it off. He's got a nose breather on. He puts this specific water in a bowl, and he puts fruit and lemons and limes and shit in there, and he puts his face in it. He goes and he works out and he meditates and all this shit. It's going viral on Twitter. Thumbs up, thumbs down in the chat if you've seen this, because I don't want to be the only person that has seen this. Because I know we can't show it on here because it'd be a copyright, but have you guys seen this on Twitter? It has got to be the dumbest shit I have ever seen in my entire life. In my entire life. Bruh, let's be real about something. That man is not waking up that early every morning and doing that. It's dark outside. How do you know it's at 4 a.m. in the morning? He could be shooting that at night and doing all that. You wouldn't know. Bro, people don't be doing stuff like that. It is. Then everybody making fun of him. He thinks that they're stealing his content. No, they're making fun of you, bud. All right. So we've been out at LSU spring practice for the last 9 days, and I've had a couple of days, Sunday and most of today, to kind of take a step back and go through some of the things that I think that we're seeing. I want to start off by saying this, though. Some of this is a lot of the same. But I want to take this in a different light and a different angle. Because what can we figure out what's going on during spring? I know that we're talking about and have talked about the interior offensive line not looking well, or the safety room not playing well, or whether you agree or disagree, in my humble opinion, whether the turnovers at quarterback are a big thing, or you can't find a running game, or the edge room looks like it can be really elite. Looks like Corey Raymond does have some playmakers at a corner. I don't want to go there. Where I kind of want to take this is somewhere different. Where I want to take this is I want to look at a team and say, what have we learned? Because I am not of the mindset, I am not of the belief that you can take absolutely nothing out of spring. I'm not one of those people. Now, I don't think that you could, should, or even some of you that you would take outright conclusions of what you have in spring football. It's not the case. You shouldn't do it. You have a whole summer to develop. Guys can get better. Guys can stay stagnant. Guys can get worse. Here's what I think I'm seeing from LSU as it relates to going into, or coming out of, I should say, because we're pretty much done with spring here. We got, this week? We'll have a couple of practices post-spring, but we're pretty much getting there. Here's where I'm at. I think that this team could be damn good. I think that this team has shown flashes at certain positions, edge, corner, receiver, tight end, for what it's worth, that are really good. Some of those areas, not receiver, but some of those areas like edge and like corner, I don't think have been this good since Brian Kelly has been here. I think those rooms are vastly better. I think that there are some things that we have to determine about the offensive line. Can you run the ball? There's a lot of things that just have not happened. You got a new D-line coach in the interior of the defensive line in Kyle Williams. And where I think that they've been a lot better this spring, especially from where they were past spring, is your interior offensive line just not that good, and why they've been able to make these plays. I want to be cautious on how I say this. I could be convinced of you being a 9-3, 10-2 team. I could be convinced that there have been areas where you've taken a massive step forward, but there I could also make an argument where you've taken a little bit of a step back in certain areas. I don't know if I like where you're at DT, linebacker, safety, interior offensive line. I think everywhere else you're pretty damn solid and good. I do think your quarterback's got to stop having so many turnovers. I think in 8 plays in the red zone and you only scoring 1 touchdown is not effective enough. Missing Xavier Thomas, as we talked about on Saturday's show, you're missing a wide open Xavier Thomas in the red zone when you had struggles and you were one of the worst teams in the SEC last year in the red zone. Cannot happen, even in practice, because I see Patrick Payton making plays. I see Gabe Rutherford making plays. I see Deshaun Spears making plays. But a lot of the same concerns that I had a year ago have not shown me or bared any fruit of being different going into this year. Mr. Blake, you're always negative. We're going to start calling you Mr. Negative. It's not negative when it's reality. Now, you can believe me, don't believe me, I don't care. Here's what I do know. We list and chart on our website every single time that we're out there the plays in order as they go on. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. You're in the red zone with the first unit against a defense who's out Jack Pyburn and out Whit Weeks and out Harold Perkins, and out of seven out of the 8 plays that they run, they scored once because Caden Durham makes an insanely acrobatic spin move on the inside and breaks the tackle and gets in for the end zone from the 2-yard line. You got to be better in the red zone. Because the only thing that matters in this sport is points. It's the only thing that matters. If you get enough of them, clearly you win. Every single game. Turnovers have been an issue. But I say all that to say this. But then I'm looking at corner. Then I'm looking at safety with Deshaun Spears. And I'm looking at some of the things that you've been really good at that starts getting me excited about where this team could be. I will be blunt with you. I feel much better about this team and what I've seen from this spring than anything that I saw a spring ago. Last spring, I saw a defensive line that got manhandled by a team that could not run the ball. And maybe this interior offensive line can be good. And maybe the defensive line is performing that well. But from an overall receiving core, from a tight end room, from a running back room with actually a little bit of depth here with guys that have a lot of potential, the question is, can they perform off of that potential? With a sophomore at safety going into second year, he gets his first time with the first team and goes off. I see the glimpses, and I see much better overall play than I did a year ago. That I'm for sure of. We can have the arguments all spring, going into fall camp, this unit, that unit, this unit, that unit, this player, that player, this situation, that situation. There are things that concern me very mightily. Run game in the red zone specifically. But, man, I don't know if I remember a time last year when I looked at this team defensively and I go, man, that looked really good. Done that a handful of times, more than a handful of times this spring. You got a long way to go until August 30th. A long way to go. But if I had to wrap 9 days up in a bow, it would be this. It would be, I feel better than where you were a year ago. I think that there are some position groups that have the potential to be, if not very good, somewhat borderline elite. And I mean that. And if you listen to the show enough, I don't use those words lightly. I try not to. But those same level of concerns that you had struggles with a year ago are still there. All right. Carver says, like being ready for takeoff and take what the defense gives you. Guys, you know, man, they're not doing that. I'm just going to call it like I see it. They're not even doing that. Jeremy says, Blake, 8 plays in the red zone were they all from shotgun plays? They were not. The bootleg right. So Xavier Thomas was lined up in the backfield. They did a special motion with him, brought him into the backfield. They go play action, bootleg right. He is wide open in the end zone. Wide open in the end zone. And he's missed. Blake, it's practice. Guys, let me say it like this. And people hate when I make these comparisons. But it's just so damn true. Remember when we came out here during spring in 23 and I'm like, dog, Jaden, it's different, bro. It is different. It's a different human being that we're seeing. Your boy, we were right on that. You would have seen those glimpses here. I hadn't seen those glimpses. Not offensively. Guys, you got your ass whooped the last 2 days. The last 2 full practices, your defense whooped your ass. And the problem with that is the offense scripts their days based off of what the defense is installing. The defense does not go through offensive plays during these individual drills. During individual drills, the offense is running plays. During individual drills, and they'll do some routes and stuff like that and some zone blocking schemes, whatever. Mostly they're running plays. The defense is all about drill work, drill work, drill work. They're not going through this shit. Then they go out there and they stop your ass. So, yeah. So I'd wrap it up at about. All right. We're out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all have a good night. Peace.